C.S. Lewis quotes, "Friendship is born at the moment when one man says to another, 'What? You too? I thought that no one but myself.' You can never get a cup of tea large enough or a book long enough to suit me. Someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else." A children's story that can only be enjoyed by children is not a good children's story in the slightest. If we find ourselves with a desire that nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that we were made for another world. The Christian does not think God will love us because we are good, but that God will make us good because He loves us. Friendship is unnecessary, like philosophy, like art. It has no survival value, rather it is one of those things which give value to survival. Eating and reading are two pleasures that combine admirably. I can't imagine a man really enjoying a book and reading it only once. To be a Christian means to forgive the inexcusable because God has forgiven the inexcusable in you. We are not necessarily doubting that God will do the best for us, we are wondering how painful the best will turn out to be. There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. A man can no more diminish God's glory by refusing to worship Him than a lunatic can put out the sun by scribbling the word darkness on the walls of his cell. Love is not affectionate feeling, but a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate good as far as it can be obtained. Crying is all right in its way while it lasts. But you have to stop sooner or later, and then you still have to decide what to do. Pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains. It is His megaphone to rouse a deaf world. God can't give us peace and happiness apart from Himself because there is no such thing. Atheism turns out to be too simple. If the whole universe has no meaning, we should never have found out that it has no meaning. I have learned now that while those who speak about one's miseries usually hurt, those who keep silence hurt more. It is a good rule after reading a new book, never to allow yourself another new one till you have read an old one in between. I'm on Aslan's side even if there isn't any Aslan to lead it. I'm going to live as like a Narnian as I can even if there isn't any Narnia. You can make anything by writing. No one ever told me that grief felt so like fear. He died not for men, but for each man. If each man had been the only man made, he would have done no less. The homemaker has the ultimate career. All other careers exist for one purpose only, and that is to support the ultimate career. What draws people to be friends is that they see the same truth. They share it. Mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain, but it is more common and also more hard to bear. The frequent attempt to conceal mental pain increases the burden. It is easier to say my tooth is aching than to say my heart is broken. I didn't go to religion to make me happy. I always knew a bottle of port would do that. If you want a religion to make you feel really comfortable, I certainly don't recommend Christianity. Even in literature and art, no man who bothers about originality will ever be original, whereas if you simply try to tell the truth, without caring tuppence how often it has been told before, you will, 9 times out of 10, become original without ever having noticed it. Courage, dear heart. The task of the modern educator is not to cut down jungles, but to irrigate deserts. Love is something more stern and splendid than mere kindness. Education without values, as useful as it is, seems rather to make man a more clever devil. What you see and what you hear depends a great deal on where you are standing. It also depends on what sort of person you are. God allows us to experience the low points of life in order to teach us lessons that we could learn in no other way. I know now, Lord, why you utter no answer. You are yourself the answer. Before your face questions die away. What other answer would suffice? If you look for truth, you may find comfort in the end. If you look for comfort, you will not get either comfort or truth, only soft soap and wishful thinking to begin, and in the end, despair. A proud man is always looking down on things and people, and, of course, as long as you are looking down, you cannot see something that is above you. Now the trouble about trying to make yourself stupider than you really are is that you very often succeed. There are only two kinds of people in the end, those who say to God, "Thy will be done," and those to whom God says, in the end, "Thy will be done." All that are in hell, choose it. Without that self-choice there could be no hell. No soul that seriously and constantly desires joy will ever miss it. Those who seek find. Those who knock it is opened. We meet no ordinary people in our lives.